Welcome back to Ta-da 3D printing. On a previous video, I printed this Panda on the Bambu A1 Mini. This is by FlexiFactory and it's a print-in-place multicolor print. It turned out really cute, but it did take a long time and there was a lot of waste. So I wanted to compare how it would look on the Prusa XL. I was able to export the STL and open it in Prusa Slicer, but of course by doing that I lost all of the previous colors or painted spots. So I'm going to have to go back through and recolor this. And just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves, we changed the colors to be white and black rather than the orange and pink, just so that as we're looking at the model in person, it's a little easier to not flip these around, hopefully not get these backwards. When we switch to the input shaper profile though, it does make the colors kind of go out the window as far as the presets, the black, white, and blue, but they are still colored correctly. I don't know why it does that. On 0.2 speed profile, this is going to take about 3 hours. I did end up confusing myself though when I went to print it because the black and the white were not preset. I loaded what I thought they were and I saw that they were printing okay, so I didn't think anything of it, but then I realized once the print was about halfway through that they were flipped. I had the black and the white backwards. But at that point I thought, you know what, I just want to see how it turns out, how it looks. I also printed this one without drying the filament because I wanted to experiment a little bit more whether I needed it on something that's a little detailed. And mostly on the face is where I noticed that there is still some stringing. It doesn't seem like it ruined the print, that I see like black and white blobs, but it's definitely going to take a little bit of cleanup, especially on the claws. It seems like there is stringing. I would say that this is manageable because it is something I can clean up. I don't love it, but it's okay. And of course, this is still the 0.6 nozzle because that's what has been working the most for me. I also did not print it with a brim because that was such a pain to get it off of the A1 Mini. And so I'm impressed that it stayed in place well, and all of the joints seem like they work good. It doesn't seem like I have to crack them apart or break them in at all. They seem like they're just the right amount of flexible. But the backwards colors is not what I was looking for, so I decided to use dried filament and run this print again, and I do flip my filaments so that it does print correctly this time. Okay, so let's see how it turned out. It does remove from the bed pretty easily, just like the other one, and the face does look like there is less stringing. So the dried filament did improve. Of course, I am using white instead of black. But I do still see some strings, and there are strings on the feet, the claws, a little bit. So it's definitely improved by having the dried filament. This is black and white and blue in the Overture brand, which is the ones that I've been using for everything. So I think that it worked out a lot better. I mean, I think it turned out really good, especially for the 0.6 nozzle. It looks like we didn't get the face colored quite right. There's not the black rings around the eyes, and then the pupils are all solid black. So the coloring's not perfect, but I feel like overall you can kind of compare the prints. And of course with the A1 Mini I was using a 0.4 nozzle, but I feel like they both turned out pretty good. The belly definitely on the XL is a little rougher, but the feet, I mean, they're similar amounts of stringing. So overall I feel like these are both acceptable prints. As far as the quality, I would want to go back in and repaint it a little bit. Okay, so I want to see how much the waist as well as the actual print weighs. So the print is 62, 63 or so grams, and then the waist or the tower is about 13 grams. At first I didn't think too much about this because 13 grams or so for the tower sounds about right for the XL. But then I started thinking, okay, how does that compare when I ran it on the Bambu? I had almost 148 grams of waste between the little squiggles and the little tower. So the XL was significantly faster. Of course, I was running with the 0.6 nozzle, and the A1 Mini took almost 3 times, more than 3 times the amount, and was a huge amount of waste. So I'm really curious what you guys think as far as the comparison of the quality, because of course, if you could run it on both of them, you have either choice. Why wouldn't you run it on the XL? Really, the only reason that I even ran these on both printers is because I just wanted to compare the quality, and I was still kind of tuning in the stringing on the XL. But I am pretty shocked at the difference in this, and I definitely want to run some more prints to see if it continues with other prints as well, if other files as well, because this is a pretty small print, but you would imagine that just scaling things up is going to be even more significant. So let me know your thoughts if you found similar differences in the amount of time and waste between these two machines. Thanks for watching.